Hi YouTube! In this video I want to show you the Jiayu S3 from fastcardtech. Actually I think it's pronounced Jiayu. Anyway, it comes in a cardboard box like this one with some specs on the back. It comes with a 5V USB wall charger. fastcardtech also included a European plug adapter for me. Comes with some sort of warranty card, a brochure or whatever. Of course it also comes with a micro USB data and charging cable, and fastcardtech also included some goodies like a screen protector. They included a USB TF card reader. They also included a little stylus, and last but not least, this also came with some sort of anti-radiation stickers. Now those are just some free gifts from fastcardtech. This phone has a 5.5 inch capacitive 10-point multi-touchscreen with a 1920 by 1080p Full HD pixel resolution. It is an IPS display, it is a one-glass solution, and it's supposed to have a Gorilla Glass. It has the MT6752 64-bit Octa-Core CPU inside, which is clocked at 1.7 GHz, and it also has the Mali T760 GPU. It has 2 GB of RAM, 16 GB of internal memory, and it also supports TF card. Right now it is running on Android 4.4.4 KitKat. It is a Quadband, it is totally unlocked, it supports 3G, and one of the highlights of course is that it also supports 4G, and I will show you the supported bands later in this video. It has Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, AGPS, it even supports GLONASS, and I once caught a Chinese satellite, so it also supports Baidu. It has a G sensor, it has a proximity sensor, a light sensor, a magnetic field sensor, it has a gyroscope sensor, and it also has a notification LED. It supports USB on the go, and it also supports OTA, meaning firmware updates over the air. It has some sort of air gestures, and it also supports off-screen gestures. It has two cameras, one main camera with a 13 megapixel output, autofocus, it has a dual LED flash and it's a f2.0, and one front-facing camera with a 5 megapixel output and it's a f2.4. And of course this phone is a dual SIM, dual standby phone. The phone weighs about 159 grams and it is about 8.6 millimeters thick. Let's take a closer look at the device. You have your front-facing camera right here, your notification LED is right there, and hidden somewhere are the proximity and the light sensor. The home, back and menu buttons are soft touch buttons and they light up in a white color. On the bottom we have a micro USB port and a microphone. We have nothing on the left. On the top we can find a 3.5mm headphone jack and a secondary noise reduction microphone. On the right side we have a volume rocker and a power button. On the back you have your main camera, your dual LED flashes, and the back cover has a matte finish so it won't attract many fingerprints. We have a Jiayu logo right here and a speaker grill. And if I can get this open for you, I can show you the inside of the phone. On the inside we find a TF card slot. Now those are your two SIM card slots. It takes two micro SIM cards. Now this is supposed to be a 3000 milliamps battery, but I highly doubt that the capacity is real. Now judging by the size and the weight and the test of some older batteries from Jiayu, I'm guessing that this could be a 2500 to 2800 milliamps battery, and we can also see that it has dual stereo speakers right here. Like always, I installed additional apps and games for demonstration purposes. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment sections below. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more, please stay tuned. Let's start with the stock launcher. It is very fast, it is very snappy, and it looks a little bit like ColorOS, and it has some own little widgets like a music player right here. It also has a own camera widget right there. You can even choose some different themes. And here's the biggest bummer of all. Now this firmware right now does not support any Google apps. No Play Store, no calendar or contact sync. So this is something that definitely has to be fixed. Now let's start by going into the settings. Let's check out about the phone. Here you can see that it's running on Android 4.4.4 and it also supports wireless updates right here. Let's go back into the settings. Next up, let's check out the language and input to see which languages are supported on this firmware right now. Let me just scroll through them so you can see if your native language is supported or not. Back into the settings. Now let's go into the security settings, and here's some fantastic news. Now this phone comes pre-rooted. Now all you have to do is turn on the super user switch and you have fully root access. Now we can give this a try. Let's see, where do I have my root checker. Let's check root checker, verify root, and you can see this phone is rooted and I didn't do anything about it. Let's go back into the settings and see where we were. Now next up, let's check out the storage. And here's another great news. The entire internal memory is available for your apps and games. So the memory is not split up at all, and this is just my TF card. And what else do we have here? We have a smart wake feature. So you can double tap to wake the screen, or you can draw different symbols or characters on the screen to start different apps. Let's also give this a try. Let's do a double tap and it's working fine. Let's just draw a C on the screen. Wait a second. And the C should start the camera and it's working great. Back into the settings, we also have some gesture sensing right here. Now those are your air gestures. Now you can use it in the gallery, the camera, the launcher. You can use it as unlocked gestures, and you can even teach the phone some gestures for some other activities. What else do we have here? Let's go into more. Let's go into mobile networks, and here you can select if you want 4G or if you want a 3G connection, and you can also freely select which one of the SIM cards is supposed to be the data SIM card, so that is also great news. Next up, let's go into the engineer mode. Right here I can show you the supported frequencies. Now those are your 2G frequencies and it is a quad band. Those are your 3G frequencies, so make sure to check with your service provider if they're supported. And here are the different LTE modes. It supports band 3, band 7. It also supports band 20, which is fantastic news for everyone in Germany. And we also have some more bands right here. We have band 38, 39, 40 and 41. Let's see what I can show you next. Let's just start Antutu. And for some reason Antutu keeps forgetting the score, but I've done a couple of tests and it always scores around 42,000 points, which is very impressive. Let's check out some info right here. You can see it's running on Android 4.4.4. It's the MT6752 with the Mali T760. Has a full HD resolution. The display we have right here. We can do a multi-touch test, but I will show you that later. We have a 13 megapixel main camera and a 5 megapixel front-facing camera. And we have all the sensors right here, but I will show you the sensors in more details in a second. Let's check out the Android sensor box to check the sensors. Let's check out the accelerometer, also known as the G sensor, and it's working fine. We have a light sensor right here. I don't know if I can get this to work, and it's working just fine. We have an orientation sensor, also no problem at all. We have a proximity sensor. Next up we have a gyroscope sensor and it's working. We also can test the sound sensors. Now we have a microphone at the bottom, and we also have a microphone on top for a noise reduction. That is also very nice to have. We can test out the multi-touch, and in my previous test I can show you that it scored 10-point multi-touch, which you don't see too often. It's usually a 5-point multi-touch only. Let's check out CPU Z. As we can see, it's running on 8 cores and it's clocked up to 1.7 GHz. And this time the CPU is actually determined right by this app. It wasn't always the case. In some other cases it got it wrong. And again, we have all these sensors right here. What else can we test right here? We can test the compass again. And it seems to be working just fine. Exit. I can also show you the G sensor. I'm always using this live wallpaper because it's very good demonstration for a G sensor. What's next? Let's do more benchmarks. Let me clear some memory and let's start Ninamark. Well, actually I'm not gonna run Ninamark, I'm just gonna show you a previous result. It scored at 53 frames per second, which is definitely not a high score, but then again this phone has a full HD pixel resolution, and that is why the score is only at 53 frames per second. And we can do one more benchmark. Let's try Antutu standard. And of course this is boring, so I'm gonna do a quick jump cut. Almost done. And the score is 18,051 points. Now what do we have next? Let's try a Doobie Reader to see how well this phone handles larger PDF documents. Let me just load my standard document right here, and it's scrolling fast. Zooming is not a problem. Let's check out the rotation speed. It is very fast, so PDF documents are not a problem at all. What else? Let's test out the Wi-Fi strength, and let's compare it to my Xiaomi Mi 4. And as you can see, it is actually better than my Xiaomi Mi 4, which is very impressive in my terms. What do we have next? Let's check out the gallery real fast. Let me go into some wallpapers. Let me just load a random picture right here. And I don't know if you can see this, but the colors and contrast look great, and also it has a good viewing angle. And right here I can show you the air gesture sensing, and I don't know if you can see this, but it's working in both directions. Now usually it only works in one direction, but for me this is just a fun little feature, nothing useful at all. Let's just scroll through some pictures, and as you can see they're loading very fast, even though I have a very slow TF card inserted. Let's check a movie real fast. Where do I have my movies? There are my videos. Let's just test a 1080p video. Let me turn down the volume. Let's switch to full screen. And a 1080p video recorded in a MKV format is running very smoothly, so that should not be a problem at all. Next up, let's test the browser. Let me go into my bookmarks and let me just load the BBC homepage. Loading fast. Zooming again, not a problem at all. The rotation speed is fast, but to be fair, let's load the desktop side to see how well this phone can handle larger websites. And again, it's loading very fast. Nothing to complain about, so surfing is a real pleasure on this phone. Now let's test the camera real fast. Now it has all the standard features, but it also has a very fun feature, which is a picture-in-picture. I don't know if you can see me right here, but let's go back into the normal mode. And let me just take a very quick picture. Let's check out the picture, and the details are very good. I really like this camera a lot. Let's see if I can get some information about this picture. Details, and as you can see, it is a f2.0. Let's see what else can we test right here. We can test the USB on the go, of course. Let me just hook up my USB thumb drive and let me go into the file manager, and it'll take a second, and no, we don't want that. And as you can see, it mounted the external USB storage, so USB on the go is also working fine. Let's just load a picture just once. There you have it. USB on the go is not a problem at all. Anyway, I think this pretty much covers everything. Now let me just tell you what I'm thinking about this device. Some thoughts about this device. The build quality is good. It really feels solid. It feels like a high quality device. The back cover seems to be a little thin compared to other back covers, but it's very flexible, so I'm not worried that it will crack or break any day soon. The display is very good. A full HD pixel resolution just looks great on this screen size. I was very impressed by the SoC's performance. I mean, a 42K result on Antutu is something you don't see every day, and especially not in combination with some other obvious pros like Dualsim, LTE, GLONASS, a removable battery and a memory card extension. The Wi-Fi reception is very strong. I was very impressed by that. The GPS reception is also very good, and thanks to GLONASS and Baidu support, it seems to be very stable. The GSM reception, the 3G and 4G reception is something that is very hard to judge, but in my scenario, in my area and with my service provider, I'm really happy about it. The call sound quality I would rate as normal. The speakers are loud, but they're not very clear. One of the highlights of this phone for me is the main camera. I think it takes very good pictures, but of course the picture quality is in the eye of the beholder, so please make sure to check out some sample pictures on my blog. Now, the LED flashes are among the best I've ever seen on any cell phone so far. The notification LED is nice to have, but I would like to see more colors, but I guess you can't have it all. And the biggest problem right now on this phone and right now is the firmware. I mean, no Google support is a no-no, so I'm hoping for a quick fix for this. Bottom line, I think this is a very nice phone, but it definitely needs a firmware update. Last but not least, I will try to show you the viewing angles of this phone and do a little gaming. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time and have a good one.